Hey guys, we're live. Welcome to Crypto Talk Now. I'm Larry and I've got Max with me. We're happy that you're here and joining us. We're going to talk about a few different crypto projects tonight, and we're open to your questions, and Max and I will address them. So please drop your comments in the comment section. Max, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing great, Larry. Thanks for having me once again. And, I'm glad we're having a regular thing in regards to our discussion on Crypto Talk Now.
Great. I'm glad that you're here again tonight. This is our third third night in a row here. So we're doing good. So one of the things that I was looking at before we got on stream was just some general news. And one of the things that jumped out, which I've heard some rumors before, was PayPal. There's a quick article here on the block. And I guess PayPal is looking into really emphasize having a digital wallet. And part of that digital wallet is getting involved with cryptocurrency and having their own stablecoin. Have you heard of that in the past with PayPal knocking around that idea?
A little bit, yeah, with the stable coin. I noticed that they, had a few of their own set cryptos um, listed on their actual PayPal. But, it kind of reminded me how like Robinhood first went about it, in which basically, they have like a small set amount, let's say, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Ethereum Classic, Dogecoins, kind of like that. So,
Yep. I mean, this type of stuff just excites me because, as we talked about before, we're part of a early group here of 4%ers. And at some point, we need more and more of the population around the world to embrace crypto. And I think with something that's mainstream like this payment service like PayPal, which everyone's familiar with, if you've ever, bought something or sold something on eBay, for example, and people use it for a lot more than that now. If this gets to be involved, if PayPal gets involved with stable coins and digital wallets, I think it'll help bring in a lot of people that already use PayPal, just more mainstream people into crypto. So I think it's a great thing. So, and real quick, let's just look briefly at the market. I like to throw up crypto bubbles, as you know, and one of the ones we're going to talk about, which, I'm excited to talk about. Obviously, I've heard of XRP and everything, but one of the ones was Secret, and I know you're looking forward to talking about that. I'm looking forward to learning about that crypto as well. But yeah, everything looks like it's doing pretty good. Apex, both things that I'm invested in. Bitcoin is trying to, make a comeback. It was down yesterday. It's up 3% today. So it's hovering around just, around 39,000, looking to get back to 40,000. But what's your overall feel about what's going on with the market? Are we just, everybody keeps waiting for that bull run. Do you think we're close to getting there, or is it just something where we're just going to be stuck in this kind of topsy-turvy type of environment?
it's too soon. It's too soon to basically, see if we're going to be making a bull run. I realize, some other, top influencer channels are going to say, we're real close, but technically speaking, they've been saying that. If you look at some of those other channels, they've been saying that actually for a while. Are they referring to like, the near future, as in, was it third quarter this summer, right?
Right.
It seems to be the trend. There's going to be a lot of things, of course, happening around the summer. I mean, you got a lot of, was it like Shiba Inu with the whole, metaverse thing going on with them and so on. Again, I just think it's too soon to say. If somebody's like, yeah, we're going to go on a bull run like this coming week or next week, there's just too much volatility to determine that, in my humble opinion.
For sure. Yeah. It always seems like we're about to head in the right direction. Then it's almost like we're getting faked out. But I'm excited. We've got some different cryptos to talk about tonight and talk about with you. I think you gave me links to 3 different ones. Which one do you want to start with first?
I thought we'd go ahead and start off with Secret, which is
Okay.
what you see right here, the big bubble for SCRT.
Yeah, I see that right now. Secret right now is really up 15.5%. And
Yeah,
it looks like it's, yeah.
Well, I was gonna say, so as Larry is actually pulling this up for you guys, just a little background on myself. I am an annual subscriber to Investor Place. That doesn't mean I work for them or anything like that or promoting them. It just means that I find value in their premium service. Your Pop actually uses Investor Place. Some of the other top influencers use it too. So, but nonetheless, I have an annual subscription to them. And the two top guys who kind of cover the crypto investor network from Investor Place are Charlie Shrem and Luke Lango. Just to give you guys a little background on who they are. As you can see right here, Larry pulled up Charlie Shrem. To give you some background on Charlie Shrem, he's actually part of the Bitcoin Foundation, and exactly like, you know, what that is. The Bitcoin Foundation is like a, you know, basically just that, like the founders club of that time period, like the early stages of like 2009, 2010. He as in Charlie Shrem, has been in Bitcoin since it was around $5. So I mean, that should say something right there.
Yeah,
He made
really,
yeah, that's just nuts. So
that's crazy. Yeah,
he's made a fortune with it. I think he's like worth a little over 40 million in net worth. On top of that, there's a video that's, I would say, pretty popular. It's got like well over 1 million views, in which like multiple news has been covered on him, where it shows that he is credited as being the first, listen to this, first Bitcoin miner ever. Shows his video card hooked up. Yeah, crazy stuff. So
that's cool.
He has been around the block, as the saying goes, and then some. But anyway, the significance of this is, and if you pull up that website about Secret, is this right here. And let me pull up mine. So for instance, with Secret, on Investor Place, they had a big announcement saying that on April 27th, it says, meet the cryptos that are revolutioning the blockchain privacy. And this is huge because if you think about right now, a lot of people, right, are leaving Facebook. Hence why, you know, Facebook, Mark Zuckerberg and so on, they had to become innovative to change or to keep up with the times. I mean, if they just decided to stay in that Web 2 model of following the old formula of social media, they would have became what? They would have crumbled like MySpace. So they got to keep up with the times. They realize that the metaverse is just that. So, you know, they rebrand themselves to Meta and so on. But at the same time, there's people that no matter what Mark Zuckerberg does or some of these other social media giants do, they want to leave that model behind completely.
Right.
And the main issue behind that is because, you know, free speech, and then on top of that, you know, privacy and so on. And what's really cool about Secret, SCRT's ticker symbol, they embody that. Their model is all about that. So for instance, on Investor Place, you know, like they mentioned, they say, you know, this particular crypto privacy capabilities will lead to a greater crypto adoption. For instance, it says privacy is not an option and it shouldn't be the price we accept for just getting on the internet. It also mentions, it says, while that was said by Gary Kovacs, who is part of this whole team, it says, although most blockchain enthusiasts champion transparency, it says, you know, transparency is great, but it's not always beneficial, especially when it's pitted against our privacies. But it goes on to mention how Secret, which is this particular coin that we're covering, is all about creating a blockchain. So again, they have their own blockchain, and then creating smart contracts underneath it that encompass the whole concept of privacy. So it's not just them building a blockchain and then somebody else comes along, they have their smart contract, they want to do their own, you know, separate project and so on. And then that smart contract that's underneath the umbrella of Secret doesn't have privacy. This is all literally based on that model, that foundation. To me, that's just, it's really cool seeing this. I'm actually going to take a look at the page that Larry has right here. So for instance, you see it right here. It says more privacy, limitless possibilities, secret network, just like I mentioned. This protects users and empowers developers to build a better Web3. So the foundation, again, I can't pound it home more, is that it's going to have a Web3 model, but, you know, promoting things like free speech, but keeping things private. They want to make sure that your data is not going out or being sold to just anybody who's willing to bid for it. And let's face it, Google is definitely guilty of that big time. But at the end of the day, I mean, you know, that's why a lot of people don't necessarily read those terms of service, right? You know, like you hit that thing and there's a whole block of information that says, are you okay with accepting these, privacy terms? Well, those privacy terms are basically allowing you to give them access on your Android phone, for instance, to gather information on your microphone. You might be talking about a particular shirt, or I don't know. Let's say you want to buy something for the Nintendo Switch. Believe it or not, and I think we can all say this. Larry's probably seen it too. We've all seen it for the most part. You get these ads that show up on different websites, and you're thinking, "What in the world? I never even typed that."
Right. What's
your
really
cell
kind of
phones listen to that. So
I was going to say what's kind of spooky is you're absolutely right. I was saying it the other day. If you're Googling something, it's one thing. Okay, we got finally used to that where, let's say I'm Googling, I want to look up buying a new vehicle like a Ford Bronco or something. So I type that in, and the next thing you know, I'm getting ads for local car dealers trying to sell me a Ford Bronco. But if I'm talking to my friend about buying a Ford Bronco and I never type it in my phone or my computer, what's really kind of spooky about the whole process with these ads is that all of a sudden I'll start getting ads for Ford Broncos and I never typed it in. So that they're trying to put an end to this, is what you're saying, from a privacy standpoint?
from a privacy standpoint, they respect the idea behind, people are tired of like just literally having all their privacy scraped and given to, the lowest, or I should say lowest, the highest bidder out there.
Right.
It's just been so ridiculous. I mean, I realize that Google has made a ton of money from that. Heck, we're on YouTube as we speak, and so on. And, we all love YouTube and so on, but, there needs to be somebody out there that's going to draw the line. And I like this. You want to see more of this. And that's why, of course, I of course, am, trying to promote this particular project, not because, of course, I'm, part of their team, or again,
Right.
None of this.
You believe in the project.
Yeah,
you believe in the
Larry
project.
and I are paid by these people or anything like that. But
Let me ask you this quickly, Max. Sorry to interrupt you, but I've just question popped in my head. So whose market share are they going after? Just to get a little clarification. I understand they have their own blockchain. I understand they're about privacy. Are they trying to be, a social media platform as well, like Meta or Facebook or Twitter, or are they just sticking with privacy on the blockchain? Is there somebody
that's a good question
outside of crypto that they're going to go after to try to take some of their market share?
Sorry. No, that's a very good question. It's not them necessarily creating, becoming, like, I guess you could say, the decentralized version of Facebook, for instance. It's actually just them creating the blockchain, their own thing, in which it's kind of like, sitting down the groundwork and giving the tools for developers can come in and do their own things built upon it. So if somebody did want to come in and they wanted to use this model and build upon it to create their own social media, network off of Secret, off of their blockchain, they would totally be able to do so. And when you go on their site, like you're on it right now, for instance, you can actually go scroll down a little bit and you can actually see quite a bit of this. So for instance, it said, we made smart contracts private. Secret contracts encrypt input, output, and state, hiding data even from the nodes on the network. So you can do some of these things like, like we mentioned before, stay safe while spending, saving, and trading, explore and expand the frontiers of Web3. So for instance, let's just take a moment to focus on that. It says, enter the new design space, customizable privacy opens up, and build groundbreaking apps in areas ranging from finance to communication to gaming. So again, their focus is not just, like we're talking about with the whole Web3 thing or, social media. It's also like, it should be important that, people who take our financial information can't, sell it to the highest bidder. Or see that, hey, Larry wants to buy a condo and I want to buy a 5-bedroom house or something, right? That's none of anybody's business other than who? The people who we are interacting with, not these people on the side. You know what I mean?
Right.
And then the same goes for gaming. I mean, it's just like, just because I might be interested in, a new game on PC doesn't mean I want to get spammed with ads from this kid over here who happens to be on the Nintendo Switch. I'm not interested in that. You know what I mean?
Right, right.
So don't spam me with that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, the blockchain, the nature of the blockchain is supposed to have an element of privacy. However, we know when people start figuring out whose wallets are whose, that kind of takes away the privacy and the original intention of the blockchain, with DeFi being anonymous. So, are they going to have any type of wallet per se where you can't really see what's going on with transactions? Will they have privacy along those lines, or they haven't talked about anything along the lines of a privacy wallet? Kind of like I think Bobatama was trying to. Bobatama, one of the meme coins, is talking about having a wallet where it's kind of like a ghost wallet where you can't see the transactions. I'm not 100% sure how it works, but I know that's the concept they're trying to develop.
So that's a good question. It's not them directly, as in them from Secret and so on.
Right. So they more or less have the blockchain to encourage other developers to come on and create those type of programs or those type of different cryptos, those tokens within their blockchain.
Right. There might be somebody like underneath the like a smart contract in regards to that. I could be wrong on that. There might be, the main secret wallet in regards to that. But to my understanding, it would most likely be somebody that's part of their ecosystem or under the umbrella of a smart contract, for instance. But the cool thing about it is just it stands out is the transparency and wanting to keep the data with us, not
right,
for being for sale. And you might say, well, where's the significance behind? Well, there's that right there is big time significant. But on top of that, as the saying goes, where's the utility? That is the utility. And to be able to have multiple projects under the umbrella recognize that. I mean, if you go right now, for instance, to their CMC listing, you will see that it's doing very well. Like you just saw on Crypto Bubbles, it's doing well.
Right.
I mean, right now, the market for the day is up. I mean, it's been very volatile last few days. But, you see right there, 16.24% for the day. Look at that volume.
Yeah, I see that.
Very significant, 248% increase, 56.8 million.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Almost $1 billion market cap, right? 900 million. I'm just looking to see when this came out. It looks like around early October 2020. And, the chart looks really,
wow.
Yeah, the chart looks healthy. It's not that, it doesn't look like a pump and dump. It's not something that spiked way up and then just never came back. It definitely has a lot of peaks and valleys.
Yeah, I wouldn't expect it to be a pump and dump. I mean, if you go up a little bit more, we can look at the current ranking. I believe it might be top 50, top 100. Let's take a look at that real quick. 93. So it is a top 100, which is, always great to see those type of things. I wish we could, of course, see the holders. They don't have that listed, but I mean, that just gives you a little gist of it. Again, if you have somebody like, Investor Place covering it, I mean, I'll just get a little bit more info on that as far as what they posted. Let me see. Hold on a second. It says, for instance, while its native token SCRT functions like any other, it says complete transparency. It says the underlying tech offers a lot of neat functionality. So it's very user friendly to people who want to, or I should say devs who want to jump into it. It says on top of it, for one, it allows for private non-fungible tokens. So they're actually doing the whole NFT thing. So, I mean, if somebody was focused on, if somebody was like, you know what, I want to create an NFT marketplace, but I don't want it to be like everybody else's. I want to build upon what Secret has because of the whole privacy thing. That could definitely stand out. There's also a little bit more on this. It says, as it stands, there's a lot of reasons to love SCRT today. It says, for instance, the network was able to raise $400 million earlier this year that will go toward funding the ecosystem. And it says, and its developer, SCRT Labs, was announced NFT collaborations with filmmakers Quentin Tarantino, and Kevin Smith. So you got like big time Hollywood filmmakers behind this. That right there is like, wow, I want to take a look at this. Going further at the end of the article, they have this thing with it's called Shockwave, for instance. That's kind of like a dev term, but it mentions it says Shockwave's update is expected to bring a range of improvements to the network, most notably, which is a performance gain of 500x or more. So it's like they're making this, you know, like the transactions and everything just that much faster. You know, kind of like, you know, XRP is like lightning quick. You know, Polygon's lightning quick. This network is lightning quick. You know, so.
Did you get in at a good price, Max?
I haven't got into this yet. I literally saw
Oh, okay.
it's been on my radar.
Me neither. I'm not into it either.
Yeah,
I'm learning about it from you.
Right. It's been on my radar, and I kind of seen it in the background. And then, of course, you know, when they had that big announcement on Crypto Investor Network, Charlie Shrem, Luke Wango, and all them, it was just kind of like a marked date on the calendar. I was just like, well, this is obviously going to be huge. What is this? And then they got this whole thing devoted to this. I mean, of course, there's a lot more going to it. I know we have other things to cover, but as far as if you guys are interested on SCRT secret and want to get into it, my buddy Foxman, he's a big, you know, advocate for Kraken. He loves Kraken. He's always telling me he's just like gets this and, you know, this, that, and this on Kraken because of staking. But yeah, you can get this on Kraken, and you can also train on CoinX. There might be some other exchanges we can probably take a look at on CMC if we go down on the page. You know, on the nice thing about CMC, on the very bottom of the page, it usually lists the exchanges that they're on. Maybe not on this one.
Oh yeah, let me hit the market tab. I can go.
There you go. There you go. I think you just passed it.
Yeah. Okay.
So Binance, if you want to do that, Gate.io. But then again, if you're American, you got to kind of stay away from that. The Kraken, I mean, you know, my buddy Foxman always mentions Kraken. But there's some other ones. It's good to see that they got quite a few exchanges that they're on. So, you know, look into them. Again, none of this is financial advice, as we would say, but we do try to put you guys on the plays that we might be in. To get it, we're not currently in it. So,
well, the interesting thing that we're doing on this show now that we have Max here is Max brings me all these different projects, and we like to take a look at them because, you know, I'm not an expert. There's so many different projects. There's only so much that I can know about as far as the different projects, coins, and tokens. So it's nice to have Max come in here and talk about a lot of different things because this way we get exposure to, you know, more than what we were used to on this channel. And we can try to figure out if there's something else that we want to get into. And that's, you know, that's the cool part about it. So we'll even talk about stuff like Max and I are not in this one. Obviously, Max knows a lot more about Secret than I do, but that's the fun thing about it. We'll talk about projects because they might be something that we might consider getting into, and maybe you might want to take a look at too, you the viewer. And welcome, Kingsman, by the way. Looks like, and Foxman's here too. That Foxman, he's your friend, right?
Yeah, he's my childhood friend. You know, from like 1994. But I ended up moving from, you know, my hometown in like early 2000s. So, but nonetheless, yeah, glad to have him here. Foxman, Oz, Kingsman, thank you. Anybody else that happens to be here, we thank you for showing up, taking, you know, the time out of your day to, you know, spend with us. It's more than appreciated. We really appreciate that.
Great. Yeah, we really appreciate it. So what else did you want to go with? Do you want to talk more about Secret, or did you want to jump onto another one?
I think there might be just one more thing I might take a look into as far as Secret.
Okay.
It does also, you know, Charlie Shrem also mentioned, getting tongue tied, sorry. Also mentioned, it says, you know, that update where it's going to like literally speed up their network 500 times or more. It says these updates will go a long way toward helping Secret Network hit its goals. It says Secret is aiming to start 100 new projects on top of the vast amount that they already have. To have, it says also on top of that, to have thousands of new users join the network and to have thousands of users be active on multiple apps by the end of the first half of 2022. So, I mean, we're approaching, actually, not that far away from reaching that goal. In closing on Secret, it also mentions when it comes to mainstream adoption, we're always talking about adoption. Right. It's still relatively early, which means most users are very accepting of the idea of early stage, unpolished technology. And that's to be expected with anything. When anything is new, when everything is new, there's going to be, you know, those things that need to be worked out with kinks. You know, things are in alpha, things transition to beta. It's not a polished product. But on top of that, they mentioned there's no telling what blockchain privacy will look like in the future or who will dominate the space. I think that's key. It hasn't been set in stone that this particular project or that particular project is going to be dominating the space. But it does mention that the secret network is an early start. There's solid funding and impressive operability to give Secret a good chance at taking the lead. And that is what really stands out for me. Not just, the big Hollywood people on it. That's huge. I mean, Quentin Tarantino, I love. Are you kidding me? Pulp Fiction.
Right.
I could say endless things. But to see what they have got going on, some people might say, well, this kind of reminds me of Cardano. Well, I guess that's a fair.
I was just about to ask you what you thought about. I don't know how far you delved into this or dived into this project, but how do you think it stacks up against Cardano and let's say Solana? Those two.
I always say this thing is like apples and oranges comparison, but in this case, it's a fair comparison. The only difference is, again, more focus on the privacy and so on. And this could be absolutely huge for this project, especially when they onboard. Like it mentions, aiming to start 100 new projects. So, I mean,
these blockchains these blockchain investments are something to take a look at. One of the ones I did well with was Phantom. So that's something that a lot of people don't talk about, that blockchain they have. I think once these tokens turn in, if they're tokens or coins, however they start out, well, I should say if they start out as tokens and then move to having their own blockchain, I think that's when they really have some staying power once they've gotten to that level, because it probably takes, I'm not a developer. It probably takes a lot of development, a lot of marketing dollars, a lot of development dollars to create your own blockchain. So there's something to take a look at these different blockchains as far as from an investment standpoint, what might be good, good to get into. I know Shibnobi's trying to do their own blockchain. Saitama talks about their own blockchain. A lot of tokens want to have it, but it's pretty involved. The Terrarium is something that I'm in. They want to have their own blockchain. They want to have their own centralized exchange. So, but so this is a good one. It looks like on the surface. It's just something that I have to definitely research offline.
Moving on, actually, I want to welcome Kevin Harrison to our live stream. He's asking what we think about 8bird. I actually never heard about 8bird. Well,
I haven't heard of 8bird. That must have be something that just launched. Yeah.
We're always more than glad to take a look into any project to see what kind of opportunity it has.
I guess we could take a look at 8bird. It's kind of a funny name. Instead of
Hi, Eddie Turner. Welcome to the live stream. Volt. Yeah, I'm actually personally invested into Volt. Eddie, I recently migrated my tokens to the V2 construct. If you haven't done that yet, you might want to do that as well.
All right. Well, I don't know. This might be 8bird. It looks like it might have just launched. Let's take a look at. I don't know anything about this project. It looks like it might have just launched maybe today. So I don't know. You'll have to tell us. You tell us, Kevin. What do you know about 8bird? What should we take a look at? It looks like the DEX scores, just might be too new to have a good score of 22. Total market cap is really low, 239,000. Volume's about 78,000. That's pretty good for a small project, and the liquidity's 143,000. So looks like there's a lot of buys coming in. Was this something that you got in on a pre-sale? First time here, Eddie. So I guess let's see if they have any socials for 8bird. I don't see any right here. We'd have to just get a little more feedback from our viewer here to find out what's going on. I can try typing it in Twitter, see if I can find their.
Don't worry, Kingsman. We'll look into that shortly and see what's going on with that. Kingsman mentioned he purchased Super Chat, but doesn't show. It might just take a little bit for it to pop up, but Larry will announce if he sees that.
Oh, I just purchased a Super Chat, but doesn't show. Okay. Well, we'll keep talking, Kingsman. I'm sure the Super Chat will show up soon. Might be just something where it's a little behind. And then we've got, we're going to take a look at Volt. We could take a look at Volt. I don't know if you want to take a look at that now or if you want to take a look at that later, Max. It's up to you.
I don't mind taking a look at Volt. Hold on a second. Let's just read some of these comments real quick.
Sure.
So again, you guys, thanks for joining the live stream. Let's see here. So we got we're of course still going to look at 8bird. We're going to try to pull up maybe a token sniffer on. I know that's real early, just to kind of see what kind of liquidity is locked up, because we don't want to promote anything in which they could rug us. We don't want that. We never want to promote anything like that.
We don't want to get rugged. Let me see
And
if
then
I can find. Oh, you keep
okay.
talking. You keep talking, Max. I'll see if I can find that project on there.
Yeah, Oz says, how do you guys feel about XRP? Ironically, that was a big topic we're going to cover tonight. Oz, Ripple, XRP, believe it or not. He says, how do you guys feel about XRP? I apologize if you guys already talked about it. Nope, we haven't talked about it yet. That was one of the big things we're going to talk about today. Of course, we're going to do Volt. Yeah, guys, hit that like if you don't mind. Larry's going to be taking a look at 8bird, or I'm sorry, Volt. I'm actually personally invested into Volt. And again, all this is for educational purposes and so on. You got to throw that out there. We're not financial advisors, so. Yeah.
No, none of this is financial advice, and we're just kind of shooting from the hip here, checking things out that people are mentioning in the comments. We do have an agenda. We're going to go through and talk about XRP, probably, maybe even next. But I'm right over here on Token Sniffer for 8bird. If you guys can all see that, and it looks like the buy fee is good. That's 0. The sell fee is pretty high, 14.1%. Source does not contain a fee modifier, so they can modify the fees.
The owner contract, that's definitely significant. Let me see. And what else you got? What about the liquidity? Let's take a look at that real quick.
So it's got 23.3 ETH in liquidity. Adequate initial liquidity 8 ETH on Uniswap version 2. Let's see, at least 95% of the liquidity is burned, locked, 100%.
So it's nice to see that. The two big flags that definitely catch my eye, of course, is that where it says the ownership, and then the one above that, Larry. At the end of the day, let's face it, it's like a gamble, all right? And what I was going to say, if you're going to get into something like this, of course, do your own research. I know we will. The extremely low market cap could be a very, it could be very significant in regards to if this thing blew up, right? Because the market cap goes with it. You got in early, that affects you, and it's just like, wow, this is amazing.
Right.
But as far as it being at the end of the day, it's still going to be somewhat of a gamble. It says it's a medium risk right here. For me personally, for those who are on the fence about maybe getting into it, don't throw like $1,000 at this thing or something. Like maybe keep it a little bit low. Go in and actually try to see what would happen, hypothetically speaking, if you were going to sell. So if you're going to be, what is this? So what contract is this? Is this ETH or is this a BSC? Larry?
Yeah, it's Ethereum based. It looks like it's got everybody has to keep in mind it has a 14% sales tax on it. So when you sell, you're losing 14%.
But where I'm going with this is let's say it is the 14%, but on the same time, that owner contract, that can be changed spontaneously. So what I'm saying is go in and see if it's truly at the 14%. And then, of course, if this thing is currently pumping or you see it doing great things, you're just going to have to be kind of smart about like how you go about this. Not saying that it's not a long-term play or anything like that, but it's just it's too early. Me personally, I wouldn't be throwing thousands at this. I'd be throwing like maybe I don't know, like $100 or something at the most.
It looks like on the surface it definitely like a degen type of play, but I'd have to go and look at their socials. I like to always start out. I don't know about you, Max. I like to definitely do the token sniffer thing, but I like to look at their socials first. So like their Twitter, I like to talk to them in Telegram a little bit. And then I like to go obviously to their website and see what they're all about. And, obviously check out their contract on Token Sniffer. But I'm not seeing it right on here. It doesn't mean it doesn't exist. But if you see whoever just asked for that, Kevin, and if you have any information on their socials, just drop it in the comments and we'll check it out. But yeah, we can move along to, I guess what we can do is we can want to look at Volt really fast and then we'll jump over to XRP.
Yeah, before we get into that, Kevin, we were covering 8bird, what you just saw right there on, Token Sniffer and Dex Tools. Foxman just mentioned, he says, did it just launch 3 hours ago? How long ago did 8bird just launch? Larry?
It looks like, from what I see here, yeah, it definitely launched today. So it was like at the 1800 hour. So what's that? That's about 6 o'clock. So yeah, like 3.5 hours ago or so. Yep. So I
Okay.
don't know.
Well,
Yeah, maybe it was a pre-sale that this that the viewer got into, that Kevin got into. I don't know any of the details of it.
well, as the
But
saying goes, we'll have to do a lot more research on that.
sure.
But I do like the idea. It's not just all buys. I did see a few sells there. When you go further down.
Yeah, there's a couple in here. Yeah, you want to make sure it's not a honeypot, right? You have to be able to
But
sell it.
right, but at the end of the day, I mean, it's like you could take this further. You could try to see where those wallets come from. Is it
Right.
part of the dev? Are those dev team wallets? You never know. Unless you investigate it further. So.
Yeah, there was a big sell-off here. Maybe these are the pre-salers. Yeah, you're right. You have to like trace the wallets and see where everything's coming from. Nowadays, people can have, you can easily set up 100 different wallets and spread it out. So you really have to almost be like a forensics person when it comes to the wallets.
Right.
But yeah, so all
You
right.
want to
Well,
take a
we'll
look
look
at
at,
Volt real quick?
yeah, we'll look at Volt really
Yeah.
quick. We talked about it last night. Both of us, you probably have a bigger bag than I do. I never even migrated over my version 1. But yeah, we'll look at Volt. We can look at it on the BNB side, I guess, or we can look at it on Ethereum. It doesn't matter too much, I don't think.
I don't
But
think I have a bigger bag of Volt than you do. I think if I'm not mistaken, I think I got like maybe, I don't know. I have to double check. I'll check my portfolio on Volt.
Volt is a strong project from what I can see. The market cap here is 191 million. We always talk about the ENU coins. How many, or ENU
Right.
tokens? How many ENU tokens are we going to have? But this seems like a legit project. They're trying to develop the game. They have talk about NFTs. I don't really know the ins and outs of Volt, other than I hear good things about it. Just the vibe that I get from it sounds like it's a decent project.
Yeah, I have $100 worth of Volt.
That's probably what I have.
Yeah.
Something like that. I mean, I kind of the buy and sell tax were pretty high, but I did kind of swing trade it a little bit because it just was so volatile, and I made just a few bucks on it. But that's only because I didn't get in early on it. I like to get in early, and it's just something that I didn't pay attention to, and I missed the boat on it. That doesn't mean that you can't, like you can see right here, it's been up over 118% in the last 7 days, up 9% today. But you could still jump into it. But I just love getting in super early, and I'm just gonna have to wait and see what happens with this one. If it pulls back a lot, then I might throw more into it.
Okay.
So.
No, I mean, Volt is a good project. I mean, again, with me, I don't know if anybody else had this problem, and that is, with the V2 migration. I think I moved mine over a week ago to the V2, and from there, it basically says now that I'm like, worth $158 billion or something, which of course I'm not, but
Yeah.
it just like it glitched out my whole wallet, and then now I have to go through this whole thing of trying to contact Coinbase and work that whole thing out, because it's just like seems like it's affecting some of my other coins for some reason, where I can't convert it right to ETH and swap it and so on. Assuming that was Shinobi, some of the other ones, Saitama, and so on, and it didn't do that before. I still have the option of doing it.
I'm having a problem with one of my trust wallets for Shinobi. I have some of my Shinobi in a trust wallet, and last night trust wallet was glitching with the Shinobi balance. It was showing it was up 136%, and then it was like down 19%. It was just acting crazy. I was actually on the Telegram last night messaging the people over at Shinobi, and they were saying that there was a glitch going on with trust wallet. So I know what you mean. It's kind of frustrating, but if that's affecting other coins and tokens that you're in, that's something that you definitely want to get straightened out.
Right.
So, did you want to talk about XRP?
Yeah, we could do that for a bit. Let me see if there's any update on the chat. Well, again, I'd like to welcome those who are still here watching and so on. Welcome, and thanks for choosing our live stream tonight compared to maybe some others. Spending what time you have with Larry and I. So
Yeah, this is fun. We're looking into a lot of different projects, guys. You know, XRP obviously has been around. The thing that I haven't gotten into XRP myself, just because, you know, on the US, you're not supposed to be able to buy it. I know there's ways that you can definitely be able to buy it with a VPN and those sort of things. I think that Max might have rugged his connection. It might be something that, yeah, I was just going to say you
no, I
rugged it.
wasn't. I was
It's
trying to fix my
probably on my
chair.
end. What's that? Oh, you're adjusting your chair. Okay. So we're over here on the XRP website, and we'll take a look at XRP on CoinMarketCap. So
All
I
right.
know, Max, a lot of you're back. A lot of people are bullish on XRP. I was just saying that I never got into it because you're not really supposed to buy it in the US, although you could if you had a VPN set up and did all that kind of stuff. Different foreign exchanges. Is this something that you're invested in? I mean, how do you feel about it?
I'm not personally invested into it, but I am going to start a position basically. And like for instance, I mean, you know, see this in like the 60 cent range or so. I know that Foxman isn't a fan of it. He was telling me a while back, he's just like, I don't like what Ripple did. Not a fan of them. Forget them. I'm done with them. I mean, I get it and so on. But for me personally, it was just like, I still see the opportunity behind it because to me, you know, there's a lot of indications that this SEC lawsuit is going to be eventually dropped. And I know that the latest thing, I think within the last day or so was, you know, they still want to get this thing, what's his name, Gensler and his team still want to get this thing dragging out and so on. But at the end of the day, if you've been following this case and seeing where it's going, it's like you can't pick and choose, right? You know, which ones are securities. I mean, I guess you can. I mean, and at the end of the day, they are. But at the end of the day, the question has been brought up in this case that it's like you can't say XRP is a security any more than these other ones. For instance, let's say like in the top 50, and that's the whole debate, right? So it's like,
Right.
you know what I'm saying? So it's like, well, what about those other ones? You know, it's more like, I hate to use this expression, but it's like, you know, Gensler and the SEC have like this giant hard on, if you will, pardon my expression, for this thing for XRP. It's ridiculous. But at the
Well, they
same
won
time,
their they kind of won their battle with the SEC, right? They passed all that, or are
for
they
the
still in the
most part,
litigation?
but yeah, but instead of like coming to terms and coming to like an agreement, right? It's like, you know, Gensler and his team still want to drag this thing out. And if it gets drug out, it's like, well, how much longer into 2023? Is it going to be March of 2023 and so on? So for me personally, you know, yeah, we're going to see probably more price action, which this thing's going to dip more and dip more and dip more. I want to, you know, look at like, is the 60 some odd cent range the rock bottom on this? And if it's not the rock bottom, is it going to go a little bit further? And if it is going to go a little bit further, my attitude is, you know, it's kind of like this article, if you could pull it up with Raoul Pal, you know, who's the former Goldman Sachs executive. And he, you know, this guy's even saying there is use case behind XRP. There's a lot of use case. If you look at the transactions that it's been able to do, it's like a lightning fast. It's kind of like was it a Western Union, but like lightning quick, right?
Right.
I mean, the transactional speed of how they're able to do things, there's a lot of use case behind it. So there's multiple sources, not just, you know, Raoul Paul and so on, but there's multiple sources stating that once this SEC lawsuit ends, this could just literally turn into a $10 coin. And that risk to reward ratio, right? That is huge. Why wouldn't you want to, again, not financial advice, but that's where I am with it. So for me, I want to build a position on XRP from here, like basically like a little bit every month until like maybe early 2023, because it could very well happen. This thing could just literally turn into like a $10 coin. And, you know, that's literally like, that would change, oh my gosh, the lives of so many people.
Yeah, Paul, he's Raul Paul. He's definitely, he's a billionaire. He's a big crypto guy, and I think I read one time that his largest position was Ethereum, maybe like 6 months ago, and that was probably about 72% of his crypto portfolio. But yeah, I'm sure he's, also bullish on XRP. It seems like a lot of these guys that are whales, so to speak, or guys that have a lot of money are bullish on XRP. So that's an indicator for me. Kind of follow the money.
Yeah, let's just scroll down just real quick. I mean, he even has that quote. Um, right here. If you scroll down on that page, Larry, on
Scroll down a little more.
no, okay, where's it above? I'm sorry, I was looking at the wrong page. I was on a different screen. Sorry about that. If you go up on the page. Yeah, right here where it says for instance, it says Raul Paul, former Goldman Sachs executive, had invested in Ripple after this CSS sued Ripple fintech alleged illegal sale of the tokens. Says, however, he considers the cryptocurrency great use cases. This was recent that he mentions, like in early April. So he's quoted to say that he considers that the crypto has great use cases and risk reward. According to, of course, the guy that did this article, it says in Powell's comments, he says XRP. Let's see here. I'm sorry. If you scroll down just a little bit more, I want to get the exact quote. It says, two main reasons for investing in XRP. He says, I bought it for the reason that A, it has use case and is being used. So, I mean, you're hearing it from like one of the top guys in crypto that has use case. And B, it says the court case is at a great risk reward, like we were talking about. Right. It says you got it on a discounted price and then looked at, he says, well, what does it have to do? What would happen basically if it went from 100% to zero? And that's the whole thing. I'm not going to tell you guys that this thing couldn't go close to zero, but the risk reward is just, that's where I'm at. I don't know of any other thing out there that has a more significant risk to reward ratio than XRP currently. And that's just basically where I'm at. That's why I want to put a position into it about every month. That's just
right
what I'm personally doing. Not saying you guys have to do that.
So you're going to dollar cost average just into it, or are you going to just look to buy it when it's dipping down? How are you? What's your strategy for getting into it?
That's basically about it. I'm gonna see how testy the waters are at this 60 some odd cent range, and if I see it maybe go down a little bit more, maybe that'll be it for me. Like, okay, I don't really see it going lower than that, and just filling up I should say fill up a big bag, but just dollar cost averaging every so often, maybe once every 2 weeks or maybe once a month until like maybe March, April, depending on how long this drags out with the XRP case.
When you do get involved with XRP, let me know what exchange you're buying it on. I do have a VPN, although I don't really use it much.
You don't have to use a VPN. Currently speaking, you can get XRP off of KuCoin. You're going to buy USDT, you're going to swap it for XRP.
Okay, cool. I heard good things about KuCoin, but I don't have an account with KuCoin. But yeah, I would definitely. I thought that this was something where you couldn't buy it in the U.S., but if you can buy it on KuCoin, then that's cool. You want to go over look at it on CoinMarketCap a little bit? I mean, we talked about the price. The price is around 65 cents. The market cap itself is let's say 100,000 millions billions 31 billion, right? So if this thing 10x's, then you're looking at over 300 billion. But I've always heard, I don't know, for like a year now that XRP was going to take off, and then that lawsuit, once they get that behind them, is supposed to release the shackles, if you will, from this project. So we'll have to wait and see. But it does look like an attractive time to get in, just because it's so far down. So I mean, if you look all the time, again, we're seeing, well, it was up a lot. It's been around a long time. January of 2018 looks like it was around the all-time high. But
they've been really suppressed because of the the lawsuit. I mean, again, if that thing goes completely away, it's kind of like wow, they could breathe, they can do so much more, and it's just, I mean, to see multiple sources. Again, not just people who are like YouTuber influencers, but legitimate like people who've been in this space for many, many years,
Right.
to see multiple sources have actual, I guess you could say, good credibility, if you will, saying
Right.
that, this could very well, go to that, not necessarily overnight, but I don't know. I mean, listen, some people believe that darn thing could go up to like $100 or more than that. And not forget that my $10 quote that I made earlier.
Right.
And that's
Right.
just where I'm at with the whole thing. I don't want to be that guy that's on the sideline, like, and then, kind of like a lot of the things
Miss
we
out
read.
on it. Yeah.
Yeah, like, I don't want to miss out on, we missed out on Amazon, all those things. I mean, those are stocks, I get it, but I just don't want to be that guy when it's just the risk to reward ratio. That's the whole thing for me. That's what sealed it for me. Yeah.
Something that's been around for 4 years in crypto is like almost like been around for 20 years because crypto moves so fast and a lot of these projects come and go. But that also gives me peace of mind knowing that it's been around for a while and it's not just something that's been here for 3 or 6 months and, just got lucky in the top 100. It's been around for a long time. So Kingsman, where's Kingsman here? So Kingsman messaged me on Telegram. I don't understand how this happened. There might be a glitch with YouTube. He did give us a super chat. It looks like it was like $20. And I promised him, he contacted me yesterday, as I was mentioning earlier offline. I promised him we would look at this project that he's a whale in. This is not something that me or Max are in, but the name of the project is called Angora. And so I told him that we would take a look at this. And right now you can see here that it looks like it started on the 22nd of April over on Dex Tools. We'll take a look at it on Token Sniffer in a second, but their market cap, is really small. It's, 88,000. Their volume is small, 2,500. But, I think I have their website here. Let's see. Here's their website. So I thought I saw something offline about this being like something to do with the metaverse. So this might be something good for you to take a look at. Let's see what it says with about. Build the next big meme token on the Ethereum blockchain, exactly like SHIB was before, with the main difference that we learned from our mistakes. So they're going to have, looks like a swap. They're going to have staking, a metaverse, a play to earn game. That's the thing with a lot of these, Max, is that it seems like a lot of them follow the same roadmap. The memes come out. Now, I remember like Keisha Inu coming out. There wasn't really much going on with it other than they then came out with the NFTs. A lot of these, the Dogecoin days are over with. Dogecoin was in a category by itself because it really didn't have any utility at all. But now they, last year, October, November, during the peak of like the memes, it seemed, when they were all kind of coming out, new ones, they're all kind of following the same thing: metaverse, play to earn. So you wonder how many of these projects are going to, pan out. So because they're all kind of just copying each other. And I'm not saying this is a bad project, but this is something where, you really have to go deep into it to make sure it's something, good.
Yeah, I mean, we'll have to. I know we promised last time we would take more of a deeper look into it, but it's more than just us being right here live, spontaneously doing it. This is going to be something like off camera. We're going to have to, spend some time to actually look a little bit more into it.
Right.
I want to, like what Larry was mentioning, you want to see the community involvement of it. Is it something that's somewhat trending? What are the reasons why? We did see the, that announcement on the roadmap for, the metaverse and so on. But it's one thing to make a statement, but it's like, okay, what stands out with this project compared to other projects? That's not me bashing the project. If you're a big advocate for it and you're a big, you're a whale into it, you obviously must be really impressed with it. Actually, if you don't mind, share with us in the chat, why are you so impressed with this, Kingsman? I mean, what, other than just you being invested into it as a whale, what stands out about this project compared to other ones?
Yeah, if you could put that in the chat, Kingsman, that would be great. And then just to kind of like piggyback off of what you were saying, Max, one of the things that I like doing, we talked about, or I said earlier, that I like to go on their socials and their Telegram, is just spend a little time, get a feel for their Telegram, see what people are talking about, but also reach out and try to see, like, one of the first questions I say is, hey, is there any devs here available? Because I like to message them and ask them certain questions to kind of get a feel as to, all right, do these guys know what they're doing? Do they have any experience? Have they worked with other tokens? Have they developed other tokens? What is their, what are their goals, short term, long term? Let's say like the next 2 or 3 months, next 6 months, next year, and kind of really see if they really know what they're doing. Because anybody can put together a website that says what they want to do. So this, like you said, is something we're going to have to look into offline. But just looking at it on the surface, Token Sniffer, it's a 45 out of 100. It is something that can be sold. So that's good. Source does not contain a pausable contract. So I guess at any time they could stop the contract, right? And they also can modify the fees.
Right. At any point, they could stop the contract. That is a thing. I mean, granted, some of this stuff, it's like on Token Sniffer, we understand that, it's somebody from the Token Sniffer community reporting on what they currently see. And sometimes, like, this has to be updated. A good example, for instance, on my channel, I covered what was Apollo Inu. I didn't get involved in Apollo as early as I wanted to because I was referring to Token Sniffer, and when she mentioned something about bountiful liquidity was locked up, and I was like, I don't know, I don't want to get into it yet. Then I go on to their actual website, and then they have the thing where it's from Etherscan, where it shows the locked liquidity and all that. So I had to like dig deeper into it, if you will. So again, these are just things that Larry and I might have to do if we see ourselves being a little more interested in it. And the same goes for anybody who may be watching, who may be thinking, this might be something that you may be interested in wanting to get into.
And just like Kingsman says here, I'll put that comment up. There are many projects hype without utilities. That is definitely true. It's a fine line, because I always use Saitama as a perfect example of hype. Hype is something that I said before in some past videos that's a good and a bad thing, because hype brings a lot of people into a project. It gets people invested because there's excitement, there's FOMO, but it also can be a bad thing because there can be excitement and FOMO at the wrong time, and people, will buy close to an all-time high or at the all-time high and get in at the wrong time. They won't be patient and wait. But like I've said before, also, you can have the best project in the world, and if you don't have the hype and the marketing behind it, you're not going to go very far. Just while we're talking here, what's your thoughts or opinions on contracts being renounced? Like, to me, I don't think that's too big of a deal. Like Saitama gave Shibnobi some beef about that, I guess you could say, when they were trying to talk about putting them on SataMask. I don't think it's that big of a deal, and I think that it might actually be better if they have control over the contract. But what's your thoughts on that from like a listing standpoint onto a centralized exchange? Do you think it's important to be renounced, or does it not really matter?
Are you asking me, or are you asking Kiesman?
No, I was asking you, do you think it's crucial, or do you think it's that big of a deal to be renounced, the contract?
Well, for me personally, I think it's important. And again, I'm not the end all be all on that. I just my own personal opinion. I do think there's a certain significant or a certain amount of significance in regards to that. And again, I'm going to use this example from the other day, Ninja Floki. Ninja Floki had locked up liquidity. Everything looked fine, and then that ownership renounced or whatever it says right there, that they were able to manipulate the contract like just spontaneously when people went to sell, even though it said that the sell fee on, again, Token Sniffer was like reasonable, but the person was able to just go in there and change it, like, I don't know, within 5 minutes, and then change it back so it reflects well on things like Token Sniffer. But at the end of the day, again, it's about the community. If we're going to compare something like Ninja Floki, who they never did any AMAs, they don't show their faces, and compare that to maybe owner renounce contract, like I think maybe Shibnobi might be doing that. But the difference is what? Cliff Fettner and the team is doing live AMAs daily. They put themselves out there. So it just, again, it literally depends on, like what you're saying, the community that's behind it. What Kingsman was mentioning, I think this is a great point. He says that the liquidity, if you scroll down on this one, is locked up for like what, 10 years or something like that. Let's take a look.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, let's
the
do
the
that.
liquidity on that's locked up for 10 years. Okay, that's cool. That shows me they have some kind of vision for the future. And he was also stating that the project just needs community. Well, how well or how long they've been around again, Larry? If you
Just
don't,
like it looks like about 5 days. Yeah, so they just launched.
well, it's as the saying goes, Rome wasn't built in a day, so they
Right.
need to build up the community. What did you see again on their social on Twitter? Like, how big was that?
It's pretty small. They've only got 136 followers. I guess I'll follow them right now. 137 followers.
And the market
So
cap is what? I mean, is it under 1 million? Is it in the thousands?
their market cap is really tiny too. It's only 86,000.
All right. Well, how about this? I mean, this is actually starting to pique my interest now
We got to take
because
a look at it, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
it's like wow, because you mentioned the whole thing with Adam Shelton got involved in something that was like 4,000, and then
4,000. That just popped into my mind. I was thinking the same
yeah,
thing. He got
and
involved with Strange Inu. Yep.
right. So I mean, if you could ride on the coattails of some of these projects that are doing things like this and that are legit, right? Those are the diamonds in the rough. But nonetheless, let's see here. So you said the market cap is about
86,000.
87,000 roughly.
Yep.
Huh. And then what about the buy orders and sell orders? Is there quite a few of those?
Let's take a look here. So
A
I'm
lot of
curious to
sells.
see if, yeah, a lot of sells. I'm curious to see if there was a pre-sale. Let's see what the largest amount of ETH was. So a lot of small buys and sells. 2 ETH was the biggest buy recently. Actually on the 22nd. So I'm guessing there was probably a private or a pre-sale or both for this one.
Oh, the 2 ETH was the biggest one. Well, obviously that's Kingsman. You're that whale.
It could be.
We're looking at you,
Unless he
man.
got involved. Maybe
Yeah.
Kingsman got involved in the pre-sale. I don't know. But yeah,
Yeah.
Kingsman said he was a whale in this.
Well, I mean,
So
he might be the guy that's 2 ETH. So
yeah.
that's
We
not
got
us
your
making
wallet
funny.
now,
Yeah.
Kingsman.
We
got
know
your
who you
wallet.
are. No.
So yeah, we'll definitely. This could be one that we would take a close look at. It's just something that we have to do offline because it's a little bit. How could I say? Logistically, it's not the best to do this like on a live show. So, but yeah, I'll definitely be taking a look at this one. Maybe we can talk about this one tomorrow offline, and I'll message Kingsman to get a little more info on Telegram.
If anything, it might just be like I know this is like a crazy comparison, but like the risk reward thing, right? With XRP.
Yeah.
It might be something which just like maybe you just throw a little bit at it and see what happens and just accept whatever way it goes. It might be one of those type of things.
Yeah.
You don't know.
If you throw $100, I mean, if you throw $100 into it and it gets to an 800,000 market cap, you've pretty much 10 extra money. So you've got 100 and turned it into 1,000. But yeah, it's the only thing that's concerning to me, just jumping off the page, is their Twitter following isn't a big one, obviously, but that could be okay because sometimes you go and see these new projects and they've got 5 or 10,000 Twitter followers. And one time, I can't remember what project it was, but I figured out it was like another Twitter from another project that maybe they had that didn't work out. Or a lot of times these projects buy followers, as you know, on Twitter. So that's not the end all be all. But you really,
Right.
I think the big thing is trying to get a hold of a dev and talk to them and see, what's going on. Are they? I'm guessing that they're probably not docs, but you really need to kind of drill down and find out, hey, is this worth something to put, 100 or $500 into, and see where it goes. But
yeah, there's no way they're doxed at 5 days. I mean, let's face it.
Yeah. So what do you want to talk about now?
Well, and Kingsman, we do thank you, of course. You said that you got the screenshot of the super chat and so on.
Yeah, he sent me the screenshot. So I guess YouTube has I don't understand. Obviously I haven't been doing that many live streams. For some reason, it's not showing up here. So I'm wondering if we're not seeing all the comments, but I'll show you offline. I'll send you a copy of that screenshot. He did show me that. So I don't know what's going on.
No, I believe it does. I mean, that's not the issue. I mean, Kingsman, we do thank you for sharing that. We'll try to find out more what's going on with that whole super chat thing and so on. But yeah, feel free to you know of any other projects, or or you still want us to take a look into that, we just of course appreciate you, coming on the channel for the last, what was it, 2 days or so, and just support us. We really appreciate it.
We really do. We appreciate all the support, and we'll talk about pretty much any project. We'll do kind of like a 5-minute honest review of it and see what's going on. And if we like it or if it piques our interest, then obviously Max and I will take a look at it together offline.
Right. To answer your question, I guess what's trending right now on Twitter, Elon Musk, let's make Twitter maximum fun. So I want to take an actual moment for that. So there's so many bots on Twitter, right? Just crazy. I mean, I get spammed by people who they all look like supermodels. Like this one lady, her name was Layla. She was like in China, and this drop dead gorgeous person. She's like, "Oh yeah, I see that you're into cryptocurrency and all that." And so then I'm like, "Yeah, and then I try to be nice, and then you can always tell if they're a bunch of BS, because what will happen is I'll say something like, "Yeah, I am. Did you do well in crypto? Oh yeah, I did great in crypto." And oh yeah, well, what tokens or coins were you invested in? And then they'll say something like has nothing to do with staking or something like that. Oh yeah, right. I pledged a bunch of USDT and I sold my position. Huh? First of all, it's a stable coin. How could you? And pledging? No. You know what I mean? So I was just like, I'm not gonna waste my time. But yeah, it's getting rid of people like that. You know what I mean? Like the bots or just the fake spam accounts. I'm personally glad that Elon Musk took over Twitter and so on. I still think can you imagine right now, Larry, if the overall crypto market cap was back to over 3 trillion, Bitcoin was near all-time highs, like let's say even if it was like over 50K, Ethereum was like well over approaching 5K and so on. Oh my gosh, Dogecoin would have been like, I don't know, man. That thing would definitely be pumping, I think, personally. Just based on anything as saying goes, the Doge father, aka Elon Musk, mentions.
I know we're kind of jumping around here, but you mentioned Dogecoin, and that might be something, I kind of sold off. I did good with Dogecoin. I don't know what I think I made like around $3,000 with it. And that was my first true meme coin. But that might be something where I might consider jumping back in at some point, because if Elon Musk is going to have like free reign of Twitter, could you just imagine like how crazy wild he can go with all the tweets and probably try to pump up Dogecoin again? I mean, right now it's hovering around 14 cents.
Right.
Market cap is around 18 billion. So, I don't know how much more juice that can come out of this, but I just feel like, to me, Dogecoin needs to be like a payment. You need to be able to go to McDonald's and buy a cheeseburger Happy Meal with it, something like that. It can be used for that purpose, a payment purpose.
Right, then that would be the utility. People all saying, it doesn't have no utility, and that is true, it doesn't. But that would obviously create some form of utility. So.
Not to get too personal, but you did really well with Dogecoin, right? You said you made some good money off of Doge.
I did, about 22K.
So. Yeah, so you did even better than I did. So that's
I
good.
I didn't do as good as my one friend, where he got into it like at like a few years ago. He got it for like 0.005 or whatever, and so he sold his position and got $5 million.
I was kind of seesawing back and forth in and out of it, and at one point, I had like a ridiculous amount of it, like 50,000 of it or something like that, and I had it for around like 5.5 cents was my average cost, and I just sold, was selling off too soon. Like if it would like pump up to like 7.5 or 7.8 cents, I'd get all excited and just sell it off, and so that's what I kind of did. And then with Saitama, I was like, oh no, I'm not going to make that same mistake. I'm going to hang on to this thing. I'm a diamond hand this thing. And that was a mistake I made. I should have sold off some before Vegas, but I wasn't privy to exactly what was going on with it. And that's, something I should have paid closer attention to. But, you really never know. Like, did I didn't know at the time. I thought I was like a hero, selling close to 8 cents. But you don't know if it's going to go up to, 70 cents or 73 cents. You just don't know. So,
and it also depends on the time. I mean, you got to keep in mind, it's just like, that was, let's face it, the main meme coin. that was really standing out during that time. And the time I'm referring to is like, January 2021 to about April/May 2021.
Right.
So that 3-4 month range, you just saw it like really, really spiking up because it was just mainly trending. So I mean, I get it on CMC. You can see certain ones that are trending if you look at the main page of it and so on. And we want to see that sometimes. Like a lot of times, you'll go on here. I'm not gonna say on average like every week, but for me personally, I've seen Shiba Inu, trend like maybe once or twice a month on here.
Right.
And of course, it's just nice to see that. I mean, it's just various things. It could be like volume, price action, even a negative price action. I mean, I know that sounds bad, but there's a lot of factors in regards to what's trending. And they also combine that, of course, with analytics from Google. A lot of people are typing on, the word Shiba Inu on Google.
Yeah.
There's ways
On
to
Google
track
Analytics.
that. Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy. So.
Well, I think in a way, all these meme tokens, they really owe everything to Dogecoin and then Shiba Inu. And it was like so easy for everyone to say, I remember all the YouTube videos, even I put some in there, like, is whatever, like, is Shiba Inu was the big one. Is this the next Shiba Inu? Everyone was just expecting, all the meme coins to do the same thing. And that's just not the case. There just became way too many of them. There was a flood and a sea of all these different tokens. And not everybody, in their mind, in the Telegram groups and on YouTube, you're thinking, and on Twitter, oh, this is the next, this is the next Dogecoin. This is the next Shiba Inu. This is the next Saitama. And your mind kind of gets trained that way. Like, okay, well, I'll just hang on because, Floki's going to do that. Doge Dash is going to do that. They're all going to do the same thing that Shiba Inu and Dogecoin did, but that's not necessarily
It's not true,
the case.
right?
Yeah.
It's not necessarily true. Some will,
Right.
some won't. It depends on what's trending. It's just there's so many different factors. At the end of the day, if you're gonna narrow it down, I'll say this. I've said this a long time ago. I'm gonna continue to say it. The biggest factor for any crypto, as far as price action, seeing it huge pumps and so on, is supply and demand. I mean, and that's my thing. Is like. Paying attention to certain things like not just the market cap but like the supply, and when you see a project that the scarcity, right, that's what makes Bitcoin so amazing. Even yet is the scarcity. I mean, they only have like what, 18 million supply.
It's
Like
18
that.
or 21, something like that. I keep forgetting
Right.
what it is.
So I mean, obviously they're number one, and they're probably going to stay that unless Ethereum one day overtakes them,
19.
which is possible.
19 million, yeah.
Yeah, again, it's creating something that's scarce but having a lot of demand for it. Bitcoin, there's always going to be a lot of demand for Bitcoin. So the supply and demand, Bitcoin is always going to stand out. So, for me personally, it's like I want to get involved in not necessarily every project, but, definitely ones in which kind of stand out like that. Don't get me wrong, just like yourself, we're invested in quite a few different projects that have a huge supply, that aren't as scarce. But what is going on with those projects? Those projects have what, like burn mechanisms and so on. And,
Right.
But Shiba Inu has like one of the best burn mechanisms out there. So.
All right. So, do you want to talk about what is this one here? This is a DAO vEmpire.
Yeah, that was one of the main ones we're gonna. Sorry, I was checking the mic. That was one of the main ones we want to talk about tonight. Before we get into it, let me just double check the chat real quick.
Okay.
Oz mentions, I know you've been kind of waiting a little bit, Oz. Sorry about that. He says, Impact XP, do you think it has a future? Impact XP, yeah, I actually do. I know that's part of the Saitama ecosystem. Or is that Shinobi ecosystem? Or both?
No, it's part of Saitama. I actually got approached by Impact XP a while back when they were launching. Yeah. So, yeah, they are part of they're on SataMask.
Yeah, well, SataMask ecosystem, or whatever you want to call
it.
Yeah, you know what? Let's just before we get into VEMP, let's take a brief moment to look into that real quick.
Sure.
I'm going to pull up Impact XP.
Let's pull it up here. think that their developer's name is Jad or Jod, J-A-D. I think I remember that. Someone asked me he was gonna do an AMA on my channel. At that time, I wasn't in the mode of doing any AMAs, but that was like one of the first projects to actually ask me, and I just declined. But now I would love to do some AMAs. I'd like to actually do AMAs with you being on the channel as well, so we could both ask questions. But
yeah, absolutely.
yeah, so it's not looking too good here, although we're not getting a lot of data populating over. We've got volume at 590,000, but we'll have to look at it on DEX tools, I guess, to try to see what the true market cap is. Hopefully. I know it's an ERC-based token.
I know there was a time that Impact XP was doing better than all the other SATA Mass listed projects.
Yeah.
And I was kind of like thinking about possibly getting into it, you know?
Mm-hmm. I just want to see if I got the right contract here. Yeah, I think I might have gotten into it. I got into it and got out. It should have been one that I got into earlier, and I probably got into it like 3 or 4 days after it came out. Let me just see if I can get into the right contract here. All right, here it is. So Impact XP. Well, the market cap is higher. No, it's at 11 million. Okay. So the volume is kind of low, 7,200. Liquidity, almost 600,000 on Uniswap. Let's take a look at the chart. So yeah, it probably had, well, it launched in, actually, I didn't realize it launched in November, like right around Thanksgiving, it looks like. And then it had this run up, dipped, had a big run up in here in January. And now we're down over here. So I don't know, like the volume's not too bad for the size. It's 156,000.
Again, a lot of it's like checking their Twitter and seeing what they got going on. That's the main thing I do. I mean, I of course, you know, certain projects I'll check their Medium, but it's mainly their Twitter. What I see. I mean, those are pinned tweets. Let's go down a little bit, but see if they got anything going on. Don't let the bear scare you. Huh.
Marketing campaign.
So they don't really have. I don't know. I don't really see a lot going on right now.
No. I don't see too much going on. I see them kind of talking about some of the other projects on SATA Mask, like these other ones here.
Yeah.
Let's take a look at their website.
I was very impressed with it back in January, but I mean, you know, what impressed me, of course, was they had something going on while the whole market was like crashing, but they were new, and that's to be expected. Yeah.
I think that the success of Impact XP, whether right or wrong, is going to be tied to Saitama's SATA Mask, because Saitama's SATA Mask itself is technically a wallet, but to me, it's more like a launch pad for some of these meme tokens that are not having too great of a chance of getting on a centralized exchange, or at least a big one.
Right.
So if SATA Mask can get their act together, if Saitama can add liquidity, and they've, you know, come up with some money to have liquidity for these different pairs, then people will trade in and out of Impact XP, and that will create the volume and the appreciation, the price action at least. So I think that if, you know, SATA Mask can get it together and have liquidity, adequate liquidity, then Impact XP has a future.
Right. Absolutely.
So, well, hopefully that answered your question. Yeah. Oz says, thanks, guys. So
no problem. I was glad to you know, take some suggestions and cover for it.
All right. So what is this? This one really piqued my interest because I know nothing about this, and I'm not going to pretend to be knowing too much about DAOs either. So, but this is something I want to learn about. So that's why this one really piqued my interest. And I literally spent zero time researching this before you gave me the link. So here we are.
So this one, you know, I know we always say, "Oh, this is a great project," and blah blah blah. Well, it is a great project. This is actually one that I, again, not financial advice, but me and my own personal friend, not Foxman, another buddy of mine, Mike, who's my local friend. This is one that's literally been on my back burner for a while now. I did cover on my channel. I haven't done a lot of videos on it yet, but I'll just say this much: there was a rumor about roughly a few days before I did the video. By all means, check out the video on my channel. I cover it more in depth on it if you're going to be interested about it. But for instance, like you see right here, it says vEmpireDDAO is the world's largest decentralized metaverse investment organization. The official vEmpire protocol incorporates different strategies to incentivize metaverse token staking to fund the battle against centralization. I'll just stop it right there for a second. So, for instance, there was this rumor about a few days before I made that video on my channel that basically stated that they're going to do this deal with Shiba Inu to do like a staking platform actually on their site. So that hasn't been confirmed yet. But there is some evidence to support that. But even without that, it's still a really cool project because what stood out from, to me, I know they have the white paper, and so on, but if you go over to, for instance, I'm trying to look for the part where it says something about the staking.
Staking platform?
Yeah, there. I guess I'm blind. Anyway, and then over here, if you go over to where it says worlds, click on that. Far left. There we go. So, for instance, I hold sand, right?
Me too.
And,
yep.
Yeah, and currently speaking, I have sand from crypto.com, their app.
Right.
And you can't stake sand on their app, right?
Mm-hmm.
But check this out. You can stake sand here. This doesn't mean that you get sand in return. That would be cool as hell if you could. But the nice thing is you can stake sand here and you're going to earn 26.02%. And you're going to earn VEMP in return. And then it's not just that. I mean, they have other metaverse platforms, like, for instance, Decentraland, aka Mana.
Right.
There might be some other ones if you scroll down.
They got Ethereum on there too?
Yeah, that's crazy. You could stake Ethereum if you want to.
Wow, look at the Ape and Axie Infinity.
Right. Ape is huge, so that's like a main trending thing that's been happening lately. So that really stood out to me, and I wanted to look into that. I mean, for crying out loud, if you're in Axie Infinity, that's a pretty big reward of VEMP in return.
It is, yep.
Again, if you guys want to look into this, I know I haven't fully explained it, but they do have a white paper, which is more of a condensed white paper. They have a full white paper if you want to look into it. And then on top of that, if you look at their coin market cap listing, hold on, give me a second. I'm going to see if there's any comments.
All right. So they're right around 9 cents right now, and their market cap is their market cap is only 16 million. Wait a minute, that's it.
Yeah, that's it. So when I first covered this, I mean, I covered like roughly, I think like around on the 9 cent mark and so on. And then, this has gone up like recently, I want to say within the last few weeks, it's gone up as high as like 15, 16 cents. So it's not bad.
Right.
And on top of that, if you click on holders, I'm not doing that, Larry. I mean, it doesn't have a lot of holders yet, but I mean, it's still kind of growing. If you look at that chart, click on the 1 month, for instance, and the 3 month. If you compare those.
Oh, okay.
Probably just click on the 3 month though. Well, it was kind of steady for a while. Then they had kind of a dip and it kind of leveled off. But nonetheless, I mean, it's a lot of still word of mouth getting this out. But the cool thing mainly that caught my eye was how it's unique as far as being able to stake like metaverse, tokens or coins, from various metaverses on their platform, and then be rewarded with their native token. And their native token ain't that bad. I mean, that's actually a pretty cool incentive. If you're wondering about the risk, if you go to the token sniffer, Larry,
Okay.
pull up their token sniffer in regards to vEmpireDAO.
I'm looking for their. Here we go. Here's the contract. Let's go into token sniffer here.
All right, just a second. Double check the chat again. And welcome to everybody, of course, who are still here or who has recently joined our live.
It's got a strong score, 100 out of 100 on token sniffer.
Perfect. 100 out of 100. I mean, that's pretty nice.
There's no buy and sell tax. That's interesting.
Well, it's probably like 0 point something.
Oh, okay. Lots of liquidity.
Yeah, I mean, everything looks pretty impressive in regards to all that. I mean,
liquidity's locked up for another 125 days.
Yeah, it's not bad. So, I mean, there's a decent amount of opportunity in regards to all of this. I mean, as far as the staking, or if you're just going to be a person that wants to buy their native token, which is VEMP. Like me personally, I need to, get my my sand off of crypto.com and try to put it there. But, again, if you're a person that holds Axie, I mean, at the end of the day, some of these areas where you hold whatever holding you have might not have any type of incentive for staking. And this has it. So it was just an interesting project. Again, like I always said on my channel, I try to cover ones that fly under the radar. This was definitely one that caught my eye that flew under the radar.
So they have a game too. It's like a
they do. It's like a
trading card game.
Yeah, it's like a NFT style trading card game.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, you have to connect your wallet to play it and so on. But
let me see if I can connect my YouTube wallet. I have a YouTube version just for like when I do tutorials and stuff like that.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I probably don't have anything in here.
It's probably gonna be MetaMask or something like that.
Yeah, let's just see what it. Okay, so what? Have you ever played this game? Probably not, right?
No, I don't. I know it sounds crazy. I don't actually use MetaMask. I have MetaMask wallet. I saw so many people. I'm glad you did a video about it, Larry, where you disconnected and so on. But I just saw so many people like getting hacked on MetaMask, and I was like, I'm staying away from that. So I keep.
Wait, run that by me again. I didn't hear you. Saw so many people that what now?
Sorry. Get hacked on MetaMask and so on. So I just.
Yeah. So you don't have.
I'm glad you did a video on like disconnecting it. So you guys, if you haven't seen that, check out Larry's video on, how to properly like disconnect from various sites. It's pretty useful.
Yeah, you have to watch out because there is a lot of hacks going on. I don't have like a lot in this. Well, this is just like a dummy wallet. It's a YouTube wallet. So, but yeah, you have to be careful.
Right.
Yep. You go into connected sites right here and you disconnect the ones that you connected to, and then you don't have to worry about it.
I guess you're getting a little bit of lag, Larry. That's what Kingsman was saying. That's probably why you couldn't hear me for a second.
Oh, okay. So there's like a lag. Okay.
Yeah. I think it's gone away. For
Yeah.
you guys that are still here, do you think it's gone away for the most part, the lag?
I'm wondering if it's this darn StreamYard. I have to look into another. I think Crypto Realist, I was watching him a few days ago, and he has, I don't know what it is, Streamlabs or one of those. I'm going to look into another platform for streaming since we're going to be doing this every night and see if there's one that's better. But yeah, so this one here, you're invested in it, this EmpireDAO?
No, that was another one where it's just like, it was like on the fence of like, well, I want to get into this or whatever. And I narrowed it down to like some other one because it was more. I think at the time it was between this and Zill for the Metropolis one. I chose Zill. But this is definitely one that I look into getting into soon. Still, I might wait for it to drop a little bit more, but it's just like one of those ones in which you could see something big happen. I'll put this much: if that rumor, like about the whole thing with the Shiba Inu staking, comes to full circle, like fruition, then you could potentially see price action with it. Because if anything, there'd be more volume, right? Because they're taking
Right.
it from one platform to their platform and so on. But you know, I'm not going to say that this thing's about 100x or anything like that. But you know, there's opportunity with this one for sure.
Yeah, I
Not
mean,
financial advice. So.
it's got a lot of volume right now for the size project. It's like almost $7 million. That's hard to
Yeah,
believe.
it's not bad. Again, like I always said,
That's a
hey
lot.
Larry, I try to cover the ones that fly under the radar, right? There you
Yeah,
go.
you do.
So,
Hey, let's bring up your channel real quick. I'm gonna put myself on the spot here and make sure I can find your channel.
I've been trying to get
Um,
my latest video. Remember, I said that the audio and the video weren't in sync when I was trying to cover Luna 1. So I'm
yeah.
gonna have to make a whole new video on that. I just decided to forget it. You know, I got various tools. By the way, if you could fix the description on my channel, it's always no space. Maximus Crypto, no space, because otherwise it won't
Oh.
show. Yeah.
Oh, so
So,
yeah, I got to fix it in the description from now on.
that's
Yeah.
okay. Just give you a
Okay,
heads
so
up.
here's your channel. So you did some on well, yeah, there's Metopolis. We talked about that a couple nights ago.
Yeah,
But
vEmpireDDAO. If you scroll further down, I think I did it like maybe a month ago, or there it is. 152 views 4 weeks ago.
let's see, 4 weeks ago.
This one right next to Shinobi. There you go, right there. You
Oh,
just saw
there
it.
it is. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you know what? I'll learn about watching it.
Yeah.
Here, I'll give you some ad revenue. Oh no, nope, there was no
Maximus
ads.
at epicintros.com. No.
You have some really good intros on your
Everybody's
videos.
always told me that. Even on my gaming channel, people were like, I love your intros. So I had to keep doing it.
vEmpireDDAO. Now, there's a few things I've seen lately that are just probably close to it at 0.0. But the point is this.
Oh, there it is.
If I recognize the opportunity with Sam or a person who's
So anybody that's watching this, go and check out Maximus Crypto, Max's channel, and subscribe to his channel. There's a little plug for you. Now, Max, are you going to start doing videos like you're doing with me? Are you going to start doing videos with you being on the screen, or are you going to change your style, or are you going to just stick to how you've been doing them on your channel?
No, I definitely am working on changing to this method. So, like for instance, when I did my last video, I wanted that like uploaded like 2 days ago, roughly. I did a video for what did I just say? That one, Luna 1. It was a full length video, in depth, and I was really proud about it. And then like the first half of it, it's in sync, and then the second half of it, it's like, if what you say is true, the Shaolin and the Wu-Tang could be dangerous. It's like, what is he saying? Is he from like an old slapstick movie?
It's like we were talking about that the other day, like a Bruce Lee movie or something.
Yeah, it's just like, I wanted to be more professional, and then at the time of recording, I was saying that there's only about 3.5 days left of the pre-staking with the I'm not pre-staking, the pre-sale for that particular project, and now it's probably like a day or something like that. So it's like I just need to do a whole new video. But I think I found out what was the issue. I know this is kind of off topic, but it was something with the frame rate. So it's like the recording thing I used only records at like 60 frames a second, and then this camera was recording at 30. And you think about it, it's going to be off. So I set both of them, and then So anyway, long story short, my future videos will show me like in the top right corner, and then I'll also be covering the material. So, and then on top of that, I'm trying to get a new mic. Hats off to Foxman, who helped contribute towards my cause. So thanks, Foxman.
Cool. Thank you, Foxman. Yeah, so that's cool. Yeah, I've got to look into some other streaming software because I feel like there is some issues with it. Oh, let me ask you real quick before I forget. Luna 1, is that pre-sale now over, or is there still time? Is there like a day left?
I'm going to double check that real quick. Let me see.
Okay.
It might be just like a day and a half or something like that.
See if I can find them on Twitter while you're searching.
All right.
That was something I still haven't taken. I've been doing a lot of different personal things, and I haven't had much time to do my normal research, but I think tomorrow I'm going to get back into the swing of things and start, here it is, Luna 1. Start doing a lot more research on some of these new projects to see what I want to get into.
So it's just under 2 days, 1 day and 21 hours left.
Okay, so this is their Twitter right here, right? Luna One.
I
think
should be. Well, I'm not even on that page yet. Yeah.
Okay.
That's where they have that SpongeBob or like what's his name, Patrick, running around saying time's running out.
So there's still time. So now this one, the market cap was going to be kind of high when they're done with the pre-sale, right? We talked about that being pretty. There's a lot of interest in this from the run guys, and some other people talked about it.
Yeah, I mean, at the time that we were talking about the other day, it was mentioned that like the contributions at the time was like at 60 million. It's probably higher now. So I mean, if anything, it's not to say it's going to be exactly $16 million market cap, but you would imagine it would be kind of close to that, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So do you is there anything else you want to go over about Empire?
That was basically about it. Just showing you guys what you see here. The gateway to the metaverse. It's just mainly, they have a game, which is cool, and then the staking pools is what definitely stood out. Actually, take a moment to look at the stake VEMP. So I realized that you're getting rewarded for staking your sand, mana, and your Axie Infinity and so on, and you get rewarded with VEMP, but not stake plus stake VEMP. And then it's decent. You're getting 15% on that. So the way I look at it is like this, right? So for instance, Larry and I, we hold sand. Go over here, transfer it. For instance, I would have to transfer mine from crypto.com. I would transfer it over here. I would stake it. I would get that 20-something% on my sand, which is cool because I'm not getting anything on crypto.com for sand.
Right.
And so I want to make it clear, you're not getting extra sand. That would be amazing. But you are getting VEMP as your reward token. So then there's that. So then after a while, you're going to have a certain amount of VEMP as being your reward token. And it just makes sense to stake that somewhere. And obviously you would be staking it on their native site, which is this site that you see right here. And then you would earn 15% on it. So it's just a really cool thing they got going on. Again, another, token project that just flies under the radar. Yeah.
So one of the things that I'm just looking at real quick here, it looks like you can stake your NFTs, and that's really cool. I like projects where you can do that. Not that I'm
I didn't know
guy.
that. Yeah, I didn't know that because again, I'm not an NFT guy either, but that's pretty wow.
I just did good with a WAGMI NFT. I bought a WAGMI NFT, and the floor price went up on that. I think I bought it for around 400, and I think it's worth about 1,200 now. I mean, at the minimum, it could be. Mine's not like extremely rare, but it could be worth a little bit more. But it's worth at least 1,200. So I was like, wow, that's like my second NFT. I want to learn a little bit more about that. But NFTs scare me a bit because I feel like we're in an NFT bubble almost, and not everything is gonna pan out with NFTs.
Right.
But so this is good. I mean, it's got the play to earn thing, kind of like it says like ancient Rome. Remember that game? I played it a long time ago, Age of Empires. It kind of looks like that. I mean, the game itself does it, but it has that feel to it. I mean,
hey, you're talking Foxman's language right there. He's a big Age of Empires fan.
I'm not much of a gamer, but that was one game I enjoyed playing, and I was like trying to figure out. Maybe you know the answer to this. Is there a crypto game that you know of that's like Age of Empires? If there was, if there was something like Age of Empires, even though it was years ago when I played it. If there was a crypto game that was like that, I would definitely play it.
No, unfortunately, when it comes to crypto games, like you mentioned, finding ones that are going to be mainstream to have that level of adoption, it's not really there yet.
Not there yet.
Yeah, some people say, it is. Decentraland and Axie Infinity and Sandbox. Okay, but still, those aren't really super mainstream yet. Don't get me wrong, Axie, the price of Axie is still up there, but let's face it, I mean, like those aren't like AAA games or whatever, right? Like those aren't.
It's
what I mean?
It seems like that would if they could get it worked out. Again, I'm not a game developer, but if you could make a game like Age of Empires, like a crypto game, it looks like that would work well. You know, you could earn with Age of Empires. I think that would be a huge hit. I think a lot of people would play it, and you know, we're just gonna have to wait and see. I think that we're in the infancy stage of play to earn gaming. The big quote unquote, you know, no pun intended, the big players, like the big developers,
Right.
like in my neck of the woods, I think it's like Epic Games is not far from where I'm at, and they developed Fortnite. So when those type of guys get involved into crypto, just imagine what's going to happen. You know, when these regular game developers get involved and start doing crypto games, which is what I'm kind of hoping happens, then I think
Right.
you're going to see an explosion in the play to earn space.
Yeah, I actually own what you call it, like a license with Epic Games, in which if I create my own game, I have to give
Yep.
them a royalty of 5%. But
Oh,
the nice thing is they provide me the engine, which is the Unreal Engine 5. So at the time that I had the license, it was Unreal Engine 4. But you get where I'm going.
cool. Yeah. So where are we at now? What do you want to go over? This is
Well,
something that, you know, I definitely going to take a look at this one. This one's piqued my interest.
um, I actually was originally gonna, try to cover Teddy Doge, but I decided to not cover that tonight because originally they had 100 out of 100 on the token sniffer, and then that's dipped down a little bit. So I was gonna
Mhm.
wait till later on down the road for that one because um, that lock liquidity, believe it or not, for them was going to end in I think 3 days, like on the 30th, and I was like, I don't want to try to promote something in which could go the other way. So I'm gonna hold off
Right.
on that one. I don't really have anything else I wanted to cover tonight. Maybe I know looking at the time, I don't know if you're wanting to wrap up, or you want to keep this going, or you want to look at some other
Yeah,
ones.
I
So
think we could. I think we could wrap things up. I think we definitely can. I just want to say, you know, thank you once again to Max. I'm having a great time doing this because we're looking at a lot of different projects that I normally don't talk about on this channel, and this is all new to me. You know, even YouTube is relatively new. You know, I started my channel in October. I realized the way to go is live streams, and I was looking for somebody to kind of partner up with, and it just kind of happened organically because Max was kind of a good supporter of the channel. So I'm looking forward. I think we have a good thing going. I'm looking forward to just doing this every night and see where it takes us. I think eventually the stream will get bigger and bigger. And I think we can start to have some guests on, whether they're developers or other YouTubers or even viewers, you know, your friend or some of the other people that support your channel or my channel. By the way, guys, if you haven't checked out Max's channel, the links are in the description. And I just want to thank everybody for watching. And Max, I'll let you have the last words.
okay. All right. Well, again, Larry, thank you so much for allowing me to come on your, Crypto Talk Now and team up with you. I know it's a regular thing that we, have been doing for, was this the third time? And so, we would love to see you guys tune in tomorrow and so on. Hopefully we can continue to do this, every night. Maybe in the future, it might not be every night, but nonetheless, it's been really nice being able to be here, doing the live streams and covering, some of these projects, like I said, who that fly under the radar. I know that we cover ones, of course, that are big time on the radar, like XRP, XRP, Secret, and so on. Again, I know that when we covered Secret, that was on the beginning of the stream, but check it out for yourself. I mean, for them, to have the whole thing with, you know, privacy built on their blockchain, looking out for us, making sure that, nobody's scraping our data and send it to this guy and that guy or this organization. I think that speaks for itself. That's definitely something that a lot of us want to see. Um, but yeah, we always want to try to cover projects that are not just meme token related or whatever, but ones that are like in the top 100, top 50, ones that have utility or ones that just have a really good community base. Just anything with opportunity. At the end of the day, again, none of this is financial advice. You might have the attitude, well, of course it's financial. You got advice. At the end of the day, we do have to protect ourselves. We can't say, hey, this is financial advice, but we do try to put you guys, as your pop would say, on the plays that we're in. So
right. Or the ones that
again.
we're thinking about getting in, right?
Right. Absolutely. So thank you guys again for that. I'll let Larry close out.
So thanks again, guys, for watching. Be safe out there. Get out there and learn about some different projects. And don't get rugged. Don't get rugged out there. Happens to the best of us, right? So thank you guys for watching. We will see you again 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tomorrow night. Have a good night, everybody.
See you guys. Take it easy.